Sketches from the Edges by Naneh Hovhannisyan. In the year 2000, my mother, my brother and I were living in Bangladesh, which I begrudged for being far from our relatives and even further from the city centre and my friends. Allegedly, when the area was being developed, reports from Bangladesh's War of Independence dominated the Soviet news, and builders, equating this edge of town with the faraway trouble spot, joked that they worked in Bangladesh, meaning a hot and messy, peripheral and poor place. Which is how it felt to me. It was as if I did not live in Yerevan. No metro station nearby, the end of the bus route, unmistakably marginal. Beyond our street, whose address we neither knew nor needed to, was arid scrubland. Our part of the Armenian capital, the same age as Bangladesh the country, seemed malformed, aged without ever having blossomed. Officially, the district was called Malatya Sebastia, the two towns that Ottoman Armenians who settled there in the early 20th century had fled. By the time we moved there, Malatya Sebastia was absorbed into the greater Yerevan, its inheritance of expulsion replaced by a symbol of resistance, General Andranik's statue at the main roundabout. In brutal, phallic glory, 1970s and 80s high-rises stood in clusters along wide streets, overlooking a district of functionality divided into nameless segments: A1, A2, B1, B2. Our rented apartment was on the top floor of a 9-story, concrete-panelled block. Insolvent without being homeless, this was all we could afford. Running water was a problem, so showers were a bitty affair involving buckets, scoops and immersion heaters. The roof leaked, so under the crack in the hallway permanently sat either a bowl or a pail, swapped in quick choreography when either one filled up. Clumps of dust formed on our disused balcony, where we hung the washing and plastic bags with erotic images, foreign words, or names of Western brands. In this home of ours, we tried to marry our reality and aspirations. Yet hope was no abstract concept. With the backs of our necks, through unarticulated pathways of our minds, we nursed a distant ambition for a long-awaited place of our own. Meanwhile, we huddled together around a coil heater as my mother remade old sweaters into cardigans and my brother revised for university. On weekends, he as a porter and I as a receptionist supplemented the household's income at a boutique hotel an hour away. Weekday evenings brought light relief as the Colombian soap opera Coffee with the Scent of a Woman aired from Moscow. In it, Gaviota, a mere yet spirited plantation worker, made her way in a world set up against her. On my days off from my job at the radio, my mother and I visited her friend. Also renting in Bangladesh, single mum Rita was unconventional and entirely unconcerned by her social predicament. She played Eduard Zorikyan's songs with her guitar, stored sugar in a café pellet tub, and as a certified astrologue and tarot card reader, earned a modest living with her séances. She forecast our future for free, sewing away our shared ennui, and her prognosis took years off Mama. This Capricorn, she said, eyeballing me, will go far. Say a flat in central Yerevan, I thought. With every soothing sentence, she watered seeds of hope, every word leaving her mouth lifting me for that day. As we walked back, placid stray dogs ignored us. Bangladesh Tsi, they are not Bangladeshi in Yerevan, were undisturbed. Self-sufficient and young, free of idling visitors, the district was kissed by the curse of all suburbs, its air of resignation left to itself. Cars screeched up the tarmacked slope, honking various tunes, and youngsters in Zico sandals squatted, silently smoking. Couples strolled past, he with an arm on her shoulder, she gazing ahead. Young trees, a carousel and tiles neatly laid on the pavements in the park. Residents roamed, grannies with swaddled babies in their arms, toddlers on father's shoulders, schoolboys playing football. Bakeries churned out warm madnakash, husbands brought home the meat, and lifts in the high-rises whirred and creaked their belaboured way up. Maybe this corner of Yerevan, was it still Yerevan? Though not in the centre of events, did have its charm. Still, I daydreamed about the city proper, which seemed light years away. Light years away the clever conversations in Abovian Street's cafes, busloads of glamorous visitors from the diaspora, bouquets from Brabion Floral Service, mushrooming electronics shops, and a novelty, black 4x4s driven by shady characters. Light years and 50 minutes ride from our ultimate stop in a rickety number 77 white Latvian rough minibus on its uptown route, for in topographic terms you are in a dip here. Through the layers of linoleum and metal in the hole of the marshrutka's floor, I'd follow the asphalt's run all the way to Opera, where life pulsated. Here, for my radio show once, I interviewed an editor of a women's magazine. She was living my dream, her own business and home in central Yerevan. When I inquired about her plans, she smiled a wide, red lipsticked smile, shook her mane of wavy black hair, swept her fringe off her magnificent forehead, and said, "Paris, Paris." Then, rolling her eyes, "All I want now is to see Paris and then die." So the ground under my feet was shifting. Events had no centre, or it was always elsewhere. No photos exist of our time in Bangladesh. None were taken. A camera was beyond our means. Besides, documenting the present was the last thing on our minds. All that preceded that hallowed focal point, the future, was a nuisance, an obstacle on our way. Yet our 9th floor flat, the swan song of our rented accommodations, is precious. As the 20th century premiered, Zvartnots Airport's futuristic tower stood as if in a sci-fi movie. In the departure lounge, families steal one more quick hug, holding tight till the last announcement to board the flight. Among them, mine. Like an accident victim walking away from the site of the crash, I left Bangladesh, Yerevan, and Armenia. Names have been changed to protect the privacy of individuals.